This is a person that is very, very strong, not only physically, but also in his mind. His feats of strength appeared on television as well as in front of colleges, schools, international companies, the TEDx stage, and amazed the guards of the iconic Louisburg Penitentiary. Prepare to be blown away by witnessing the power firsthand as he puts the strength to the test. And now, get ready for Eric Moss, the virtual strongman experience. With you, Eric Moss.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eric Moss, and I'm going to be performing some feats of strength for you today. Now, it is important for you to understand that everything that you're about to see is in fact real. Nothing has been gimmicked or tampered with in any way, shape, or form. You're just going to have to take my word for it. So, since we're limited on time, we better get started right now. The very first feat I have for you is this is a piece of structural steel. This is what they use to make buildings and bridges and railroads and that sort of thing. And these are some soft suede wraps that I use to just pad my hands just a little bit for protection. So, structural steel. And this is why they pay me big bucks. And by big bucks, I'm actually relatively reasonably priced. And that is how I steal the show. Next one that I have is back in the day, back during vaudeville, when strongman was more commonplace, there was a rite of passage, so to speak. See, a strongman wasn't recognized as a strongman unless he could bend one of these in his hands. This is a 6-inch spike, also known as a 60-penny nail, which you could pick right up at your local hardware store. So you wrap up the pointy end, and then I wrap up the head for protection, practice safety. $60 nail. I guess you can say, I nailed it. Another classic feat. This is a horseshoe. This is the kind that you actually put on the horse. Wrap that one up nice and tight. Wrap up this other end. Horseshoe. No more horsing around. The S is for strength. Take a break from the classics for a bit. and we'll do a more modern day feat of strength. This is a frying pan. Now we're cooking. And that is how I roll. Now we're going to go back to the classics. This, chest expansion belt. And this is a steel chain. Now what I'm going to attempt to do is to break this chain with the power of my lungs. So, now that I've gotten that off my chest, still have a little bit of time to basically talk about myself and how it is that I came upon this really quick. What I learned from the legendary Slim the Hammerman, what I learned from my current coach, Hercules Chris Ryder, and what I learned from my first mentor, the late great New Jersey Superman Greg Matonic, is that we are all capable of so much more than we know. And I discovered that, how to do that, discovered that there's a great power within us that can lift cars off of humans. And I discovered how to access a bit of this power when I was with my first mentor, Greg Matonic, one day in his gym. Greg says to me, there's a feat of strength I want to teach you. That to me is the epitome of everything it means to be a strongman, of mind over matter, and that is bending a steel bar on the bridge of my nose. Now this is a reinforcing steel bar. This is what they put into concrete to give it tensile strength. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it up on my nose like so, pull down really hard enough to make it bend, and what's going through my head as I do this is I say to myself, I know that this is not going to be comfortable, but no matter what I feel, I'm going to give it everything I've got, no matter what. That is the secret of bending steel, and that is also the secret of success, which becomes a topic in the motivational speech that normally accompanies my show. Something I wish we could do today, but we're a bit short on time. So, without further ado, reinforcing steel bar on the bridge of my nose. I'm gonna come up just a little bit closer, angle the camera so it's just a little bit higher, so that you can see it real good. Okay. Reinforcing steel bar on the bridge of my nose. Oh, I need a vacation. Now, cross the hands over. And there you have it. Now, one of these from every show is going to be painted and given to someone that is fighting against cancer. This is something I started called Rebar to Ribbons. This is a breast cancer ribbon, and it's my way of using my talents to give back. Anyways, that is my show. I want to thank you for watching, and I want to thank Alan for having me here. Thanks, Alan.
Wow, was that amazing or what? This is crazy. What a strength. How did you do that? Let's ask him. Eric, thank you so much for your demonstration. It was amazing. People are still going nuts here. Tell me a
Alan,
little bit about you.
it's good. First, I want to thank you for bringing me on board. It is always a pleasure to share what it is that I do. So, back when I first started performing, people would always ask me, how on earth is any of this possible, and how did you get started doing that? So I started basically making that into the motivational speech that accompanies my show. I try to take my viewers, my audience, on a journey with me as I went into my first mentors' gyms, as they taught me lessons of self-empowerment, going past self-imposed limitations.
Yeah, because uh, you know people are not used to seeing strong men. It's something that I think it used to be years ago. I never personally been, only in the circus maybe I saw one, but I don't recall. I don't know many strongmen out there. And you definitely also, when I think strongman, I think it's like a huge 6 feet person, all built, and you look in shape, but you're not built that way, and that's even more amazing to me.
Thank you. I appreciate that. One of the things that I had learned from my strongman mentors is just how important the belief systems are. That it's only partially about the body. People always ask, is it technique? Is it mind? Is it body? They're all one and the same. They're all interconnected, but the mind drives the body. And the fact of the matter is, every single human being on the planet is capable of so much more than they know. One of the things that was told to me by the legendary Slim the Hammerman Farman. Slim was a student of the Mighty Atom, a vaudeville era strongman who was about my size and could do things like bite through spikes and pull airplanes with his hair. He said that there's been numerous times throughout history where ordinary human beings are able to lift a car of a human when put into crisis situations. He's like, it's got to make you wonder, isn't that power in you too? Question is, how do you bring it out?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I actually heard of cases of moms, for example, that lift a car to save their child. And so definitely there's much more strength. And also with some of the demonstrations that I do that are not compared to yours with strength, but definitely highlights the power of the mind. And I think that in your case, it's very clear. It's not only about muscles. It has to do with here. Am I correct?
Yeah, muscles are only one part in the chain. A lot of times what holds people back in their strength and in their life is all in the mindset. And it's your belief systems about who you are and what you're capable of that are going to determine whether you're going to push forward or you're going to hold back in life.
Yeah, and you mentioned a mentor, because again, I'm not familiar with many strongmen, and also I think it's something that you mentioned vaudeville as well. So how did you start with this?
So I've been a personal trainer for about 15 years, and I always came at it from the standpoint that if people are going to pay me money to train them, that I needed to be able to find stuff that they're not going to be able to find on their own. And it came about through my studies that there were entertainers about 100 or so years ago that were able to perform unbelievable feats of strength as part of a live show. Now, this was an era that predated performance enhancement drugs. And I'm like, there's got to be something to the way these guys operate that allow them to do the things that I can do. Now, it turns out that there's a small subculture of us, and they were gathering every year in Newark, New Jersey, which is not that far from me. And when I first went to this conference where they all congregate, I went there simply to be able to interview Superman about the secrets of Kryptonian strength. And that's when I met Slim, and that's when
interview Superman? Did you say interview Superman?
yeah. I mean, these guys were legitimate men who had been steeled, just like Superman can. Mm-hmm. Now, fast forward a couple years, and I'm going through a divorce, and I go back to this thing just to get my mind off of things. And that is when I happened to be seated next to the man who changed my life forever. His name was New Jersey's Superman, Greg Matonic, and he offered to teach me to bend steel. Took me into his gym, took me into his wing, taught me how to go past self-limiting beliefs, to believe in myself when I had lost my own self-belief and when everybody lost their belief in me and pulled me out of the pit. And that's one of the reasons it's very important to me to be able to pay tribute to my first mentor and to let people know exactly how he helped and utilize his lessons to help bring my audience out of their own pits of despair and help take them to their next level so that they can actually achieve their dreams.
Wow, very interesting. Well, that was an amazing demonstration. People are really intrigued. And if anybody wants to hire you for a show, for a talk, do you have a website? We're happy to put it here in the chat as well. You can say it right now for everybody to know.
It is strongmanericmoss.com. That's Eric with a C, Moss like on the north side of a tree.
Okay, yeah, we also have your name right here. So it's strongmanericmoss.com. Eric, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. You rock. Thank you for watching. If you would like to participate on our weekly happy hour show, you can find a link to sign up in the description below. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel by clicking right here, and don't forget to click on the bell so you are notified every time we publish new videos. To watch the next episode of the Happy Hour, go ahead and click here.